zero emissions targets. Well, one of the most influential players in this field is Beyond Net Zero, which is backed by General Atlantic, the US private equity giant. And I'm joined now by the chairman of Beyond Net Zero, Lord Brown. Lord Brown, very good to see you this morning.
Good to see you.
What are the kind of businesses that you've backed to date?
So we've backed a variety of businesses to give examples of what we really are going to do in the long term. A company that does distributed solar energy in sub-Saharan Africa. A company that is a leader in ESG ratings for supply chains. A company that optimizes a supply chain based on carbon output. And a company that collects waste and does something with it. And finally, a company that does vertical farming. So you can see there, the common theme in them is that they all reduce greenhouse gases at rates exceeding the science-based targets established for their sector.
And they're all quite diverse businesses in there.
They're very diverse, but I think it's putting the corners of the piece of paper on the piece of paper before we start filling it in. So there are plenty of opportunities to go for in a variety of areas, which are expressed, I think, with the corners of that present investment.
Now, you've just been at COP27. Has that in any way influenced your thinking about climate change investment?
It has. I think COP27 really got into the wrong direction. It really discussed loss and damage, which is all about paying people for something that other people might have achieved, the global north paying the global south. I think it's going to be a tough call to get any of that to really work. What I think has not happened is that people have not translated the nationally determined contributions of COP26 into really practical targets for companies and for local parts of government. So we're falling short of the level of investment needed to reach net zero by 2050. Actually, we're about $3 trillion a year short. It's huge. And so I came back saying, I think we need a plan B and we need a plan C. Plan B to adapt the world to higher temperatures, and plan C, geoengineering, just in case it all else fails, we have to do something rather radical to get out of very big climate change.
I'm fascinated by this term geoengineering. It's a term that some people may not be familiar with. How do you explain it?
Well, it's altering the atmosphere or the oceans to change the climate. And it's very dangerous at the moment. So we have to sort of think about, are there better solutions to that? Can we do something that is temporary until we can catch up with where we should be? And importantly, how do we control it? Not just locally, but globally. You know, is there a way, a bit like the seas, or the Montreal Protocol, is there something that really can control what other people will do?
Geoengineering sounds colossally expensive. Is this something that governments are going to have to do rather than private capital?
Well, we don't know yet. I think all I'm calling for is I think people need to dust off the plans. It's a bit like having, the emergency button behind the glass. Break glass if all else fails. And that's what I think we need.
Now, you wrote a piece in the FT after COP27 in which you kind of laid out what you've just said to me, which is that although there's a lot of money available to be deployed, it's not going to be deployed in time. Is that because we're playing catch up, if you like, with global warming?
Well, I think we've got a bit of a difference, really. So first, we've probably got all the technologies we need to do about 70% of the problem solution. But a lot of those are not commercial. The rate of return is too low for people to invest. The rate of return might be okay for governments to invest. So we need, I think, to get the right incentive package and penalty package to get really pushing all this investment through, and to get banks that are regional development banks or international banks to change their mandate to push their part of that investment through. I think you can see some of this on the horizon with the Inflation Reduction Act of the United States, which is evidently a package of incentives to get investment going in climate change. And I think that's very important. The world has sort of said, well, let's set the targets, and I'm all in favor of targets, but I'm even more in favour of delivery behind the targets, and that needs incentives. Private sector, which is a very important part of this, governments are not going to do this, will not invest, obviously, until the rate of return is appropriate for their cost of capital.
Absolutely. And also, I presume that, I mean, for climate investors, the timescale on which you see a return on capital is slightly extended as well in a lot of cases.
That's correct. So, you know, the time to scaling and the time to the adoption of a technology needs to be practical for most companies. I mean, even the biggest strategic companies in the world will want to see a payback in a finite period of time, and they'll want to see returns commensurate with the risk. So governments can adjust those risks, which is what's happening in the US. I think others need to follow. The UK has done quite a good job, but of course in the UK, we're very small in this problem. You know, we'll solve our problem. What we should be doing is inventing companies with an eye to exports of technology and goods and services.
Now, obviously, you previously were CEO of BP. How do you assess the challenge of companies like BP right now? Now, they're trying to transition very rapidly away from fossil fuels, but at the same time, fossil fuels have been enormously profitable this year. They must have investors saying, stick with the knitting for now.
Well, I think you've got to do both, you know, and I think, you know, fossil fuels, in particular oil and gas, which is, I'm not talking about coal, they're going to be around for us for quite a long time because we can't find a way of substituting the energy density of these fuels. So I think the best estimate is, you know, between 2012, so 10 years ago, and 10 years ahead, will probably be roughly flat in the demand for these things. So that's what puts a big premium on decarbonisation, carbon capture and storage and all the related technologies. The oil and gas companies, they are diversifying into new energy, and it remains to be seen how successful they will be. They have great skills in some of those areas, and importantly, they have great balance sheets, which you need for some of these big tasks like carbon capture and storage. So investors need to make up their own mind. You know, how do you let someone diversify, or do you require them to pay a dividend and stock buybacks? It's always been the balance. It's been a balance around for as long as I can remember. So it's not new.
All right, Lord Brown, very good to see you this morning. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Some other business news stories for you now. And the aerospace, defence and security contractor Chemring this morning cited geopolitical and technology trends as it predicted strong demand in coming years. Well, the company, whose products include the chaff thrown up by the F-35 and Typhoon fighter jets to prevent radar detection, said that Russia's invasion of Ukraine was leading to significant growth in European defence budgets, while the US was increasing investment to strengthen its position towards an assertive China. Well, Chemring also reported today an underlying pre-tax profit of £62.5 million for the year to the end of October. That was up 12% on the same period 12 months earlier. And the investment fund Conviction Life Sciences this morning postponed its planned stock market flotation. The company, whose chief executive recently appeared on this programme, now plans to list its shares in February next year. Well, Conviction is looking £100 million to invest in diagnostic and therapeutic technologies and pharmaceutical services businesses. It said today that while it had received positive feedback from a large number of investors to date, including retail investors, the fast approaching Christmas break and specific feedback from several potentially significant investors have persuaded it to extend the IPO process. Now, this time 12 months ago, the big expected theme for investors in 2022 was expected to be the ongoing bounce back from the pandemic. The invasion of Ukraine and rampant energy prices was certainly not on the agenda of many investors. But what are the big themes for 2023 on the minds of investors right now? Well, joining me now is Seema Shah. She's Chief Global Strategist at Principal Asset Management. Seema, welcome to you. I mean, one of the big themes you've alighted on is a bounce back in China.
Yes, absolutely. So if you think about the last couple of years, you've had most of the world reopen, you've had inflation rising in all these countries because their growth rates have been so strong. Yet on the other hand, China, because of their continued zero COVID policies, they have struggled with activity. So what we're seeing in the last couple of weeks is a very, very significant shift away from zero COVID. We should see a reopening of the Chinese economy. It's not going to be imminent, but it should be something which gradually takes place over the first quarter of 2023 and potentially into Q2. But there should be fairly significant impact for growth in China and, of course, for the rest of the world, given it's one of the largest economies.
And markets already pricing that in to an extent. I mean, the Hang Seng's been on a terrific run in Hong Kong over the last few weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen this tremendous performance from Chinese equities, from Hong Kong as well. And one of the reasons is that investors have been really looking out. Sentiment had become so negative in the run-up to just a couple of weeks ago that when we did see this change in policy from the Chinese government, you've had this incredible swing back, and valuations had been very, very cheap. So it's become a very attractive investment proposition.
Now, another of your big themes for next year is credit. You think that there's going to be value in the bond market. I mean, again, we've seen a kind of repricing of bonds of late. Where are you particularly looking for value?
So we have to think about next year is going to be a tough year. Economically, we're expecting recession in most parts of the world. So this is a time where investors should be looking for safety. Now, as you get into recession, typically your long-end treasury bonds, your kind of government bond area, is those yields should start to come down as you get closer and closer to recession. So it's a good place to hide out. But obviously, also within the credit space, investment grade where you have higher quality, that should be a good defense mechanism whilst also getting a bit of yield for the first time in many, many years.
It's quite astonishing, isn't it? Until recently, I think 90% of all global bond issuance was yielding less than 1%. I mean, do you wonder whether some people are going to get caught out by the fact that we've had this big repricing?
You know, typically you don't really see such a negative run in bonds. Now, what we are expecting to see is, yes, it's still a difficult environment, and as you said, you had to have negative yields for an incredibly long time. But with central banks having raised interest rates so aggressively over the last year or so, you finally have yields which are attractive. And from here, we're not expecting a very aggressive ramp up in rates like we saw in 2022. In 2023, we're getting closer to the end of that cycle. So this is a time where yields should start to come down gradually. And of course, remember, this is an attractive investment environment for yield investors.
Now, another theme you've picked up on is the end of the bull run in the US dollar. Very good news for emerging markets.
Yeah, there's a lot actually going for emerging markets as you get into next year. So if you think about the dollar bull run, a couple of various issues which have been driving it. One was, of course, Russia-Ukraine, so that geopolitical instability, which is meant that this rush for the safe havens. But you've also had the Fed raising rates at a far more aggressive pace in most developed markets. So that has also driven the dollar much, much higher. But as you get towards maybe the first quarter of 2023, you should see the Federal Reserve pause rates at some point. And once you get to that point, then it takes out a lot of the fuel from the dollar, and then they should have a bit of a reversal. And for emerging markets, typically, once you start to have that pivot in the dollar, it's typically good news. We are not expecting a weak dollar through next year, so really it's more of a case of it's not just strengthening much further through 2023, so at least a little bit of a tailwind for emerging markets.
You mentioned the US there, and obviously, as you say, people think the Fed may temper the rate at which it's tightening monetary policy now. But a lot of the data coming out of the US is still remarkably robust. I mean, is it still a given that the US is going to actually go into a recession?
It's a great question. So yes, the US economy has been incredibly resilient. But by being so resilient, it means that their inflation problem is a lot more sticky than maybe many had expected. So the implication is that the Federal Reserve has to actually raise rates even further in order to slow down inflation. But in doing so, they raise the risk of recession. So although the US economy is strong today, that unfortunately is going to be its downfall, and it probably means that it's going to be a deep recession towards the end of next year for the US.
All right, Seema, we have to leave it there. It's great to see you in person this morning. Done down the lines for quite a while now, so it's lovely to catch up in person. Thank you. Still to come here on Ian King Live, we're going to have a look at how global markets are doing this Tuesday morning. Don't go away.
I'm Becky Johnson, a Sky News correspondent, part of the team based here in the Midlands. Allegations of exploitation in Leicester's clothing factories aren't new. In fact, it's been an open secret in this city for years. Made for people who want clarity in an uncertain world.
We're getting more and more stabbings, and essentially I think it's more and more younger children. As a team, we're not really surprised by anything these days.
So there's reports of a male who's been stabbed repeatedly in the leg.
Here in the diverse industrial heart of England, we hear from people who have real stories to tell. tell.
Parents are going to complain like this, and schools had better get ready for it.
These protests are being organised primarily by people who aren't parents at the school.
So some patients aren't going to survive this.
We have to be prepared that patients will die from this illness.
Staff here are currently identifying wards that could be turned into areas where patients with COVID-19 could be isolated. The River Severn is still rising, and people here in Ironbridge have been told it could go up by another metre before it starts to go back down.
It's going to be a long, slow process of putting it back together, isn't it?
We aim to be the best and most trusted place for news.
In 7 sessions following the closure of a key pipeline that ships Canadian crude to the United States. So it's consolidated those gains this morning. Right now, a barrel of Brent crude will set you back $78.86 a barrel. That is just over 1% higher on the day. Well, on the equity markets, following last night's positive finish on Wall Street, there were gains across most of the Asia-Pacific region. The Nikkei in Tokyo hit its highest level for a fortnight, while elsewhere there were gains in Hong Kong, Mumbai and in Sydney. Shanghai was more or less unchanged. Well, in Europe, markets have been trading largely to the upside so far this morning. Here's a current picture. Only the IBEX in Madrid in negative territory, the main continental European bourses right now. Here in London, the FTSE 100 is also in positive territory. I think I can show you that one. Here it comes. Yeah, FTSE up a fifth of 1% higher. Gains for the oil majors are being balanced out by losses among some of the big industrial stocks. The leading gainer in percentage terms in the FTSE right now is Prudential. That, of course, is the insurer largely based these days in Hong Kong and in the Asia-Pacific region. On the downside, the leading blue chip fraud is Rolls-Royce. The shares off there nearly 3.25%. That looks to be a spot of profit taking. The aircraft engine maker yesterday hit a 5-month high. Outside the FTSE, a few interesting things to talk about. The specialty chemicals group Synthoma, the shares up there now by nearly 7%. That's after agreeing to sell its laminates arm for $255 million. Meanwhile, ASOS, I mentioned them this time yesterday. Well, the stock price is off another 2% right now amid reports of talks with suppliers. On the foreign exchange markets, well, it is relatively quiet this morning. There are some very big interest rate decisions later on this week. As you can see, sterling is about a sixth of 1% high right now against the US dollar, more or less up against the euro by the same amount. The single currency, therefore, more or less unchanged against the greenback. Well, joining me today is Rob Bergman. He is the Senior Investment Manager at RBC Brewin Dolphin. Rob, welcome to you. Big week for interest rates. Big day today for US data. We get the US inflation figures.
Yeah, we've got the CPI figures where month on month, year on year, they're likely to show inflation is abating in the US. The key is just by how much, and because obviously this is going to set the trend for the future direction of interest rates in the US and whether the US dollar carries on to ease.
Yeah, I mean, the numbers have been broadly going in the right direction. Do you think that, is there a chance that the Fed, I mean, most people think the Fed's going to raise by 0.5% tomorrow night. Is there any risk to that assessment posed by the numbers today?
And unless the number is dramatically different from expectations, I would think not. The US, the Fed's been quite good at signaling where it's going, and it's taken quite a hardline approach to this. So I think rates will go up again. The key is, I guess, how long the rates stay high for, and this is back to what one of your previous guests was just saying about that in turn determines the depth or otherwise of a US recession later in the year.
And obviously we hear from the European Central Bank and the Bank of England later this week. Any doubt in your mind that they're both not going to go by 0.5%?
No, being so bored about this. No, I don't think so. Tough on crime, tough on the causes of crime. kind of thing.
Now, obviously, last week we got the financial reforms proposals from the Chancellor, Jeremy Hunt. We were talking about those with the City Minister yesterday. But what about crypto and the prospect of greater crypto regulation? I mean, this is something that's been really talked about post the FTX fallout.
Exactly. So there's the Financial Stability Board, which is a global body, has announced that it's taking a very much closer eye on what's going on here. And crypto has essentially been an unregulated market for years. But, crypto, it's not like Father Christmas. It's not like it's a question whether you believe in it or don't believe in it. It exists and it needs to be better regulated to protect the people investing in it. What's interesting, I think, is this kind of concept of we seem to be in a world now, it's out with the new and in with the old. Crypto has had a pretty spectacular blow up this year. And then you look at the outlook, as Lord Brown was saying earlier in your show, about the outlook for oil companies and this transition to a more carbon neutral position, where actually the guys who are at the forefront of this are the oil companies themselves. There was an interesting piece. I mean, there was a comment attributed to a Saudi oil minister, which basically said that the Stone Age didn't end because we ran out of stones, and the oil age won't end because we run out of oil.
Yes,
we will still need oil in some form or other for the foreseeable future, and whether that's just for medical grade plastics or whether it's for just for lubrication. I mean, wind turbines, they're not lubricated by banana skins. They need proper lubricants.
Absolutely, Rob. Good to see you as ever. Thanks for joining me this morning.
My pleasure. Bye.
Still to come here on Ian King Live. I'm going to be joined by the Chief Executive of the London Stock Exchange Group. It's just announced a major partnership with Microsoft. I'll be hearing all about that after this short break. Don't go away.
With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Vedasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Prampram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Prampram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Tune in to On Point here on Star Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Check me out. He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do that?
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of the darkness. Of darkness.
So what did that
myself and the world in adjustment. And 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on The CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Star Radio.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Star Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world. In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
Hi there, this is CJ Buckleman, your life coach. And whenever I'm in London, I listen to Star Radio UK right here. But guess what? You can listen to wherever you are.
The best radio show. Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world. In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
This is Star Radio UK.
Are you ready to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Hey, this is Archie and you are listening to Star Radio UK and the Morning Show. And the Morning Show.
This is Star Radio. This is
UK.
Star Radio
UK.
This is Star Radio
UK.
Welcome. Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Enlighten your day with Star Radio. Star Radio. Radio for the people, by the people.
Oh.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive our King.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Okay, let me say a massive good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you, wherever you might be on planet Earth, and those of you on other planets as well. I salute each and every one of you, and once again I say welcome to the program. But let me say good morning to my team this morning, Mr. Olayomi, Koiki, Mr. Frank Davis working behind the scenes, and my able producer, Mr. Francis Guy. Today is the 13th day of December, the year 2022. The time now 10:42. If you're listening to me, have you put up your Christmas decorations or no? Yesterday I was told to make sure that everything is done because I just put the decorations out and then a week is over. I thought, wow, I'm too busy to be doing all those stuff, you know. But wherever you are, once again, welcome to the program. It is Starr Radio UK, the Tuesday edition of the morning show. If you've not heard of me before, I remain yours sincerely. For those of you who know me, yes.
This is the morning show with Archie.
Let me say good morning to where you are, wherever you are. I hope you're doing very, very well. And Bishop, my Bishop Adesina, good morning to you as well. To Amayo, good morning to you. A good morning also goes to Anthony Adedeji, Aziz, Miss Gold, hey Charlie, how buddy? Sir Maxwell, massive good morning to you. But share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages as well as I bring you the morning show. For those of you who have tuned in for the first time to listen to us on the program, this is how the program goes on a Tuesday morning. But I'm going to bring you the quote for the day, the weather forecast will follow suit, then the travel update as well. We continue from there to have a look at some of the stories making the rounds across the globe, known as Global Trotting. And then after that, at 11 o'clock, we have Mr. Olayomi Koiki, who will bring you updates from Nigeria. We continue from there, and then at 12 o'clock, the lines are open for you to add your voice to the discussions. 12:30, the curtains are brought down for the end of the program. That's what that's what we're going to be doing today. But remember, this afternoon, exactly at 1:30, BB Clement will be coming your way with another edition of BB Means Business. But this week, she's going to be live here. The big one before the end of the year. So wherever you are, continue to keep your dial. So log on Starr Radio UK.
Sweeping from across the deserts of the Sahara to the coastal forests of...
Well, something from the one and only Solomon Elijah, bringing you some Christmas tunes there. Anthony, thumbs up to you too. Okay, let's crack on then. Now, don't be afraid to invest in time. Invest time in getting to know people and learning from them. You won't regret the results. So, because if I'm good or I'm bad, if you don't invest time to know me, you might not know. Maybe I'm too bad, and I come in your way, and then I'll be messing things up for you. Or I'm too good, and you let me go, or whatever it is. Make sure your dads are so long on Starr Radio. You get Prince Adekule. Massive good morning to you. And let's move on straight to the weather front. We are in the UK. We are still chilling, you know. When I say chilling, not that we are relaxing, no. It's cold. So you see me in the studio still in my apparel, as if I'm outside. Yeah. I've turned the AC on off in the studio yet. It's all cold. It's cold like hot. But let me give you details of that. Yeah, so when it comes to the weather for London and the surroundings of England, this is how the weather is going to be for you. Let me say good morning to my brother. Okay, it says that today will be rather cloudy for most of us, with just a few hazy bright spells around. It will be a dry day throughout, but staying rather cold. Tonight will remain dry and rather cloudy for much of the night. Towards dawn, cloud will tend to thin out, leaving clear spells by the end of the night. A very cold night expected once again. Temperature is going to be 2 degrees. The lowest is going to be -2. UV level, low pollution, low sunset 15:51. Sunrise for tomorrow morning 07:58 hours. Prince Adekunle. Yes, my brother. I hope you are doing very, very well. And I'm saying morning to my brother Felix all the way in Aberdeen. That is the coldest place in the UK, you know. Chilling. You go as high as -15. But I know my bro, he's great. Yes. Alright then, so that's the end of the weather forecast for you today. Let's move on straight to the travel updates. But don't you worry, I'll bring you the rest of the song from Solomon Lange, and that is the Christmas tune for you. But wherever you are, stay tuned and don't you go away. A quick commercial break, and I bring you the travel updates. Keep your eyes on the road.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business. The show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Okay, so keep your eyes on the roads. Keep your eyes on the roads. I'll keep you navigated. I promise I'll be on the Starr Radio Travel Update. I'll catch you every weekday from 10:40. It's now 10:48. And what is your travels like? Let me tell you what is happening here in the UK, especially those of you in London and the southeastern part. Well, on the underground this morning, Bakerloo line is partly suspended. No service between Harrow and Wilston to Queen's Park due to strike action. Well, because of the strike action, there are lots of services that have been impeded by it. So please check before you leave affected by it. Now the central line is severe. There are severe delays. The district line part suspension. Elizabeth line minor delays. Jubilee line minor delays. London Overground part suspension. Metropolitan line minor delays. Piccadilly line part suspension. Severe delays and minor delays there as well. On London Tramlink there are minor delays, and that is due to a lack of available trams. That aside, Circle, Hammersmith, Northern, Victoria, Waterloo and City lines are all in good service. DLR is also in good service. So when you are traveling, you know which direction to go or what means to use. But moving on straight to the major roads in London, A20, A24, A4, Central London Red Route and North Circular A406 have all got closures. But keep your eyes on the roads. Keep your eyes on the roads as we keep you navigated. I promise. Our bond. Moving on straight to the riverbank this morning. Apart from the Woolwich Ferry, all the others have got good service. The London Cable Car is also in good service there as well. I'm moving on to the National Rail. Where all the strikes are taking place, major strikes going on. Wow, Avanti West Coast Special Service C2C, Tilton Railways, Cross Country, East Midlands, First Hull Trains, First Transpennine Express, Gatwick Express, Grand Central, Great Northern, Great Western Railway, Great Anglia, Heathrow Express, Island Line, London Northeastern Railway, Merseyrail, Northern Rail, ScotRail, Southwestern Railway, Southeastern Railway, Southern, Thameslink, and Transport for Wales have all got special service. Now, Lumo has got good service, and West Midlands trains good service there. So those are the two that seem to be having a good service. So if you're traveling along those lines, that's good for you. But if not, then please check before you leave and make sure that it's very important before you embark on any journey via those routes, because there are severe delays on those ones. All right, so on that note, let me say it as I do. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you, wherever you might be on planet Earth. Enjoy your commute for today. But you know what? Continue to keep those eyes on the roads.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. I'm bringing the time down to 8 minutes to the top of the hour. That means 8 minutes to 11 from here. That's GMT for you. All right then. So now let's move on to some of the stories making the rounds across the globe. Yeah, I'll be telling you more once we have Miss Olayomi Koiki on. I'll bring you everything that is happening in Niger area. Yeah, that's Nigeria for you. All right then. There's lots more going to be coming from there. But whilst on, let me quickly slip this announcement through Thursday morning. Yes, there's not going to be a program. There's not going to be a live program because the technical team will be doing some major improvement works, and therefore it's going to be affecting the transmission, and therefore there will not be a live broadcast. But Wednesday evening, the Niger Voices will be taking place live with Miss Olayomi Koiki, where we have all the time to discuss all the issues that is going on. All right. Okay, now let's move on. Let's look at some of the stories making the rounds in Nigeria. We only met 25 days ago. DJ Copy officially announces engagement tax wrong. Okay. Well, they are happy. Well, Lawan begs El-Rufai to persuade governors over stalled constitution review. Now, this constitution review, we've talked about it several times, but it looks like because some other group have got majority, they think that, well, whatever you do, you cannot get the sanction to actually review the constitution. So the constitution is going to be as it is, and those who are virtually getting advantage or the upper hand from it will be enjoying that, and those who are not are still going to be there. Talking about marginalization and everything that seems to be going on. But what do you think? Federal government cancels COVID-19 test for all travelers, so you can travel to and from Nigeria without having any test report that you need to show there. And for scarcity, federal government should consider phased deregulation. All right, more going to be coming your way there. Presidency, Peter Obi takes presidential campaign to APC backyard 2023 presidency. Now, how was the event there as well? A lot more going to be coming your way from there. It's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. Updates that will be coming from Nigeria to you, so stay tuned. Now, if you not support sponsoring Simon Ekpa, allow Nnamdi Kanu to address media, Huriwa is saying. Those are some of the things going on in the southeast as well. Biafra, how I will resolve IPOP agitation if elected president, Atiku is saying. So how is he, what has he got in at the back of his hand that he thinks that he's going to put across, and that will help sort out this agitation that is going on? What has he got there? Will that actually ease or tease the Biafrans or those in the southeast to vote for him. Maybe if that will bring about a peace that they so much need in that particular area, and their marginalization will stop or ease. Why not? I mean, people will be looking at that. But wherever you are listening to us from this morning, it's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, Ghana has reached 3 billion staff level agreement with IMF. Okay? Well, so now is the finance minister going to leave? Because with this agreement, workers are they ready to actually do haircut? You know, they are talking about haircut. I don't know. Now, Tracy pleads guilty, convicted on his own plea. Okay, there are some stories making the rounds there. Bagman becoming a tyrant, wants to turn parliament into a palace. Muntaka is saying. Why is he saying so? Well, I'll be bringing you more about that. And a large link audio tape of Asedingetia reveals NDC went to court without a case. What do you think about all that? Well, we'll be looking more into that. I know Frank has been saying that, well, there were some things that the NDC was supposed to have done during or before the elections that they failed to do, and therefore it was difficult for them to actually come out to say that this and this and this and this, these are the evidence that we had to, or we have to actually make a case. But what do you think about all that? More going to be coming your way from there. It's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Amnesty urges Senegal to tackle abuse in Quranic schools. Now, many children in Senegal's Quranic schools face multiple abuses as well as financial exploitation through forced begging, Amnesty International is saying. Okay, we'll be looking into that. And Guinea's ex-junta leader just testifies about 2009 massacre and pleads innocence. Proceedings in the 2009 massacre resumed yesterday in Guinea. The country's former military ruler took the stand and pleaded his innocence. Well, Museveni has accused Europe of hypocrisy on its climate and energy policy. The Ugandan president is also making his voice heard. We'll be telling you more about that. All right. And Blinken has stressed our partnership to African innovators as well. So if you're innovative, why not? Get in touch. Get in touch. You might have something coming out from there. That meeting that is going on from today. Now, FTX founder Sam Bankman freed. FTX founder Sam Bankman fried, arrested in Bahamas, according to a court filing last month. FTX owed its 50 largest creditors almost $3.1 billion. But he's been arrested there. Now, 6 died in shootout at remote Australian property. 3 suspects have been shot dead after the killing of 2 police officers and a man, authorities have said. We'll bring you more on that front. And Aden apologizes for MP insult caught on mic. In a parliamentary debate, the New Zealand Prime Minister used the insult after sitting down. You remember that one? The one here. But well, if you don't, just stay tuned and continue to listen to us. Ukraine missile graveyard is evidence against Russia. Prosecutors want the collection of more than 1,000 munitions to be used in any future court action. But will that take place at all? World record nonuplets return home to Mali. The 9 Malian babies have been receiving specialist care in Morocco, where they were born last year. Oh my goodness. That is a whole entourage. Yeah. You have the father and the mother to it. You got a team, a football team complete. But well, it's not coming away from Starr Radio UK. God has blessed them. You don't have the stomach to stomach that, but God didn't give them to you. God gave them to the family that can so much that. Well, I hope that they get the support that they need in this time. So major train strikes begins as snow and ice grip UK. Now the near total shutdown of Britain's railway is expected, and there are warnings about road and air travel as freezing conditions continue. A vigil has been held for 3 boys who died in icy lake. Now homes without power on coldest night of the year. Heavy snow causes problems in Shetland as the temperature drops to -17. There are some stories making the rounds here in the UK. Specialist needs help delays on acute concern. Ofsted is saying children in England are facing long delays in assessment, the regulator has said. Some other stories that we're going to be looking at when it comes to Nigeria as well. INEC PDP officers raise scores killed in southeast of Kaduna, and suspected hoodlums on Monday unleashed a spate of violent attacks on the Independent National Electoral Commission building in Owerri, Imo State, and the People's Democratic Party campaign office in the Gombe State, raising the 2 facilities and further heightening anxiety about the conduct of the 2023 general election. So the question is this election going to take place or not? Alright then. So this is a lot more going to be coming your way from now till 12:30 when the curtains are brought down to the end of the program. But for now, let's enjoy this song, a full one, uninterrupted, from Solomon Lang. A Christmas tune for you.
The Lord is come. Let earth receive our King. Let every heart prepare
This is Starr Radio
deserts of the
UK.
Sahara
In your car,
to the world,
at home,
on your smartphone, and into the nation's central hinterlands. Peace shall reign. For unto us a child is born, and unto us a son is given. For he is the King of Peace. Merry Christmas, Nigeria. Merry Christmas, Africa. Merry Christmas.
Okay, listen to Starr Radio UK. And let me say thank you to my able producer, Mr. Francis Guy, who's made me something to keep me warm, you know. Woo! It's chilling here, man. But you know what? With the information and the news and everything that will bring your way, we'll make sure that we keep you warm by so doing. So wherever you are, don't turn the down. We having the one and only Mr. Olayomi Koiki, who's also going to put the fire in it for you as well. So wherever you are, it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. I bring you the time now to 7 minutes past the top of the hour, and somebody will say, or as I normally say, it is my singular honor to once again welcome the White Lion to the house, Mr. Olayomi Koiki. Yami, massive good morning to you and welcome to the show.
A very good morning to you, Mr. Archie. Good morning to Frank. Good morning to all our presenters, the engineers working behind the scene. Good morning to all our listeners, and I can tell you we are literally about 5 broadcasts on my left-hand side that are also watching from different part of the globe, and I say good morning to them as well.
Yes, every one of you who've tuned in, we are so grateful to you for doing so. But how are you doing, sir?
Well, the code continue to play its own role, but you know, we have to play our own role as well. Yesterday, you know, some schools were shut due to the you know, contingency of the problems, you know, here in the United Kingdom, while some of the other schools were on as well. But the children were not going to school yesterday because the floors were very slippery. We've seen a lot of you know, uncertainty in the road network, and like we're also aware that the strike that will be taking place, you know, from today as well throughout this week is a very, very important one. That if you are not too sure of having to be outside, please stay indoor and keep an eye on the Starr Radio UK, where we will be giving you all the reports around the globe, you know, the news, the traffic as well. But if it's important, you can then make that journey out as well. But apart from that, I've been out again this morning as usual. Very, very cold, bitterly cold, I can tell you. I'm not sure whether, like I said, the driver understand that when you get into that bus, it needs to be warm. Probably maybe there's time now for some of us to start putting some petition around some of these drivers. Probably not understanding that we are paying for that service. This is not Africa. That heater must be on the bus so that it can keep us warm. But apart from that, we're back again doing what we love to do, giving those headlines from Africa. But this time around, it's coming from Nigeria.
Yes, listeners, Mr. Olayomi Koiki. But Yami, do you think that maybe, you know, all these electric buses that they are trying to introduce, maybe it's not got enough power to power the heating? That's why.
I mean, you got to understand that the world is changing very fast. I was actually looking at Norway, where out of the European countries, Norway has more of the electric vehicles. And as we speak right now, they're also planning to have those vehicles to be able to be charged while you're driving on the road. So, like you said, to all these buses that you know has been brought in have that capacity. Well, I believe as long as they can move almost an hour driving from point A to point B, then that's something that is inside that can also fire up, you know, the engine to keep it warm for some of us in this very bitterly cold winter that we find ourselves right now.
Well, listeners, whatever it is, we are here to keep you warm. I have the White Lion who's going to put the fire in it, and I'm here to be fanning it, and I can tell you that it will keep you warm wherever you are. So keep your dial still logged on Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, let's see whether Yemi, can you hear me? Yes.
Loud and clear.
Good. Okay. Yes. Now INEC PDP offices raise calls. I mean, virtually it's like an attack on the INEC or an attack on the 2023 election. So the question is, with everything that is going on, is the election going to take place or not? But what happened to the INEC offices and the PDP offices and all that took place there?
Well, we've seen a lot of more INEC offices, being brought down, raised to, down by fire. There's no evidence of who is actually behind these, but the government believe, according to them, that this is done by those the government call the separatists, which is the IPOB. Even though evidence indicate that we've also seen that the politicians are also not in good terms with each other, depending on what state that you are running, your election from. But the headline that you actually talked about is the INEC and the PDP offices raised and scores killed in the southeast and again in Kaduna. So the question is, if INEC offices are brought down in Kaduna, is that again the job of the IPOB? Because Kaduna, if you look at the map behind me there, if I move this way, southeast is just literally very close to the southwest, and if you look at Kaduna is a bit further to where southeast is. Well, let's take a look at what is this story all about this morning. According to the news, suspected hoodlums yesterday again unleashed spark of violence, attacked the Independent National Electoral Commission building in Owerri, Imo State, and likewise, the People's Democratic Party campaign office in Gombe. Gombe is quite a bit far away. If you look at Gombe in that map, Gombe is literally very close to Bauchi and Adamawa, and that is as far as away from the southeast. So raising the two facilities, that means a further heightening anxiety about the conduct of the 2023 general elections. You did ask if that election will hold. As far as we can say, the government says the election is going to hold. The self-determination team are saying they're pulling out of Nigeria. There's a lot of uncertainty in Nigeria as we speak right now. Also, even as the Nigerian Air Force were bombing the terrorist hideout in 3 local government areas in Bini Garua, which is a very, very important, that the Nigerian government continue to fish out and flush out these terrorists. But to be mindful of the innocent citizens within those regions as well. Igabi and Chikono in Kaduna, so you can tell that killing as many of the the terrorists. The operation was aimed at clearing the areas of the criminals ahead of the forthcoming poll. So it seems now that if you remember that in 2015, the election was pulled just because 17 local government was in the hands of the terrorists, and 3 states were literally no-go area. So it seems maybe the order from Buhari is to clear all these areas as quickly as possible so that the election can hold. During the Monday assault on the INEC office, a very sad situation. Police were killed. 3 of the attackers were, 1 police officer died and 1 other sustained injury as well. It is a very tense time. But let's remember that now similar touch of the INEC offices has now occurred in Ebonyi State, Osun State, in the southwest, Ogun State, within the past week, is now sparking fears that some people were plotting to derail the conduct of the 2023 general elections.
Well, it's difficult for us to sit here and make an assessment of what is happening, because it could be that like you said, some party, people knowing that other parties knowing that, well, with what is happening, the tendency that we might lose the election is great. So to stop anything from happening, we just have to just go on that path. It could be that people who are against the election per se might also be doing everything to bring it to a halt. And it could be that the government itself, like we've been alluding, that, hey, you know what, we're not going to let the election hold, so that there is so much chaos. And because if the past elections had, because 3 states, because of insecurity in 3 states, they decided they didn't want to hold elections. With this time now that the spate of insecurity is on the ascension, do you think the government will also hold the election at all?
Well, the situation around the insecurity in Nigeria it's one to be concerned about, especially when I keep playing back to even in 2019 when we traveled back to Nigeria, to monitor the election. The terrorism issue was not as heat up as these, but what we saw then was more of confrontation, which is already happening. I mean, almost two close, members of the Labour Party have been killed in the northern part of Nigeria, and that is definitely linked to those that disagree, with the views of a presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi. We are not sure whether it's got to do with the ethnic part of it as well. But one thing is to assess the situation that an election will hold, with these burning of the INEC offices. I was actually looking at a video on the Twitter yesterday where in Ikorodu, this is in Lagos State, for the last 6 months they've not been able to get their PVC. So again, the question is who is actually, trying to manipulate, the PVC issues. We've seen PVC being thrown away, and where some individuals are not getting PVC as well. Even though INEC is assuring that all these offices that have been burnt down has got not enough materials that are sensitive, around the election. We know that during the election is when the sensitive materials will be monitored, by the security agency. So it seems already that now that we have 3 different, we have the Hausa Fulani from the Atiku side, which is under the PDP, even though people might say, we're going to talk about it because it was actually asked a question around the Biafra. We have the Yoruba, which is Tinubu, and we have Peter Obi, an Igbo man. So 3 individuals from 3 major ethnic groups are running this campaign. Popularity is among every one of them. There's no doubt about it in our mind. But it seems now that some kind of agenda to bring one another down is already playing among them by some of their followers or those that are instigating this violence on the INEC offices and the individuals, police officer across the country.
Well, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK, 80 minutes past the top of the hour, the time, and it's the morning show with updates from Nigeria with Mr. Olayomi, Koiki in our North London studios. I'm Archie here in the South studios. So stay tuned, don't go away. Ruth, hey, good morning. Ruth says, good morning, Mr. Koiki. God bless you, Mr. Koiki. Yes, may God bless you too for also tuning in to listen to us. All right then. So, Yomi, now, the military has come out to debunk again the report by Reuters accusing the army of a massacre. Now the story says that the federal government had described a report published by Reuters, an international news organization, accusing the Nigerian army of infanticide as a fake news. How fake is it? What information do you have pertaining to that?
A couple of days ago, the Reuters released a very, very, strong allegation with investigation around 13, Nigerians, within the IDP camp, were actually pregnant, were terminated, without them knowing, and that is something that you ask the question: are this some of the pregnancy done by the terrorists, or is this military also involved in sleeping with some of these women and then eventually force them to terminate the pregnancy? But the federal government disagree with Reuters. It's not the first time that the government of the day, we've seen that, especially in Africa, government doesn't like international, agency, giving reports, especially if it's not the one that favors them. Amnesty International have written a lot of reports that, the government have also debunked. But as this is just as the news agency has also again published a fresh report yesterday in which it accused the Nigerian army of not just carrying the termination of pregnancy, but also carrying out a massacre of children during the ongoing war against terrorism. That again is a flag right there. The Reuters, in that report that was released last week Wednesday, accused the military, the Nigerian military, of running a secret abortion program on female victims of terrorists, adding that no fewer than 10,000 pregnancies have been terminated since at least 2013. Following the Reuters investigation, the United Nations General Secretary Antonio Guterres has also called on Nigerian authority to investigate allegation. I'm not sure that is going to happen, so he's probably living in his own world there, thinking that the Nigerian is going to investigate anything. They're already denying it. However, speaking at the event to showcase the scorecard of the Ministry of Science and Technology and Innovation under the present regime yesterday, the Minister of Information and Culture, the one and only Alhaji Lai Mohammed, accused the Reuters of making such allegation without a piece of evidence. He said the news agency made this grave allegation without scrutiny of evidence, citing only anonymous sources, report review of phantom documents. The agency claimed its investigation was based on interview with 33 women and girls to arrive at the bogus 10,000 abortion, and in further indication that the figure of abortion quoted was arbitrary or possibly conjure, the agency first put the figure to. So it seems already that the federal government under Alhaji Lai Mohammed has knocked that. Should we then say that is it the same thing that now that the ex-Twitter chief says Nigeria lied about negotiating with the company during the month-long ban? So it can tell now who is lying, because in June last year, the federal government gave impression when Lai Mohammed traveled to US, telling Nigerians that they have already negotiated with Twitter, but the Nigerian government that blocked Twitter in June 2021 then falsely claimed to be in negotiation with the Twitter executive. That never happened. Twitter did not negotiate with President Muhammadu Buhari's regime to overturn the micro-blogging site's 7-month ban. So it seems that the federal government must have just turned it back on, and they're already using that now for their campaign under the Twitter itself.
Now, interesting. I mean, when it comes to Lai Mohammed, I mean, after the Lekki Toll Gate massacre inquiry that took place with, learned people, justices, and people sitting down, bringing evidence, gathering evidence, he came out to say that it was all a lie. So this that the people are not there to have had maybe an official body like this to do it. I know for sure government is going to say that it is a lie, but I know definitely that they would have lives have been lost, because when the military goes after let's call it what they call them terrorists in their camp or in the forest, wherever they might be, by pursuing them, because they go along with their women and their children. There's a tendency that so there should be, I like government to come out that, well, there could have been something of the sort, but maybe the number of casualties will not be right. But when they come out to blatantly say that we don't agree to that, then I get myself thinking that, well, I think Lai Mohammed is becoming the proper liar Mohammed as he has been. But Prince Abimbola says, good morning, Mr. Archie and White Lion. Root says, Yoruba Nation, now, no going back 100%. And then he said, Nigeria is 419 and dead. What are you also saying? Let us hear from you. Listen to Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's quickly hop on to one other story, and then we'll come back to some of the others. That is pertaining to the statement that Atiku has made, that he can negotiate the peace in the southeast, the Biafra area. Do you think he can do that?
The question is that he has asked himself again is if Biafra is still possible. He was actually asked this question during the interview that a town hall engagement that he had with one of the mainstream media back in Nigeria over the weekend. And the question is whether what would Atiku do around the Biafra agitation. I would negotiate with the IPOB on Biafra agitation. We don't know what kind of negotiation would that be, whether to just releasing Nnamdi Kanu and then allow IPOB to continue their campaign for the right to self-determination, and the Yorubas as well that are also doing the same thing. But Atiku declared the IPOB issue. This is in the words of Atiku himself. And Atiku, for those that are not aware, is the presidential aspirant for the People's Democratic Party in Nigeria for the upcoming election next year. The IPOB issue in the Southeast, as far as I am concerned, is about the realization of Biafra. He's now asking, is it possible for Biafra to be realized today? That is now again a question mark that Atiku is asking, whether Biafra can be realized today. He says he will negotiate. Mr. Atiku is 76 years old, is contesting under the, against Bola Tinubu and Peter Obi and the host of others. IPOB, is an organization that the government have also labeled as terrorist, even though the international community disagree with that. But Mr. Atiku Abubakar expressed willingness to negotiate with this particular group. We are in a democratic society. There is no one geopolitical zone that can't on its own achieve a political power without crossing Niger or being an alliance with other geopolitical zones, the former vice president explained. He added, and I said, and I quote, I think this is what they should begin to think. Okay, how do they partner other part of the country to secure political power to protect their interests? I think these are the ways to go as far as the agitation for the IPOB is concerned. So that literally means that the former vice president between 1999 under Obasanjo, that I'm going to be talking about, because Obasanjo has also expressed concern about Nigeria in one of the headlines, while appearing over the weekend on Sunday, urged Biafran agitator to form alliance with other regions to secure a political power, promising to restructure Nigeria, devolve power and resources to the region. This is what they've told the Onaize. This is what they've told the Afenifere in the last 23 years, that we will devolve power, we will give you, a restructure, and none of this has happened. I'm not sure this is what IPOB wants. As with the IPOB and the Biafra, and the Yoruba have said that, we need to go back to where we were prior before the 1914. The IPOB issue in the Southeast, as far as I'm concerned, is about the realization: is it possible to have Biafra today? How? By negotiation or by going through another civil war, which we cannot afford to? And if we're not going to afford to go into another civil war, that negotiation doesn't seem to be coming from this present government. So I'm not sure whether IPOB that are saying that they are leaving exit out of Nigeria before that election, Atiku will have the time to negotiate with them.
But the question is, have they also have there been any declaration per se, like an official declaration from the IPOB at all? Do you know?
No, not to our knowledge, but we are aware that they're also from a lot of in their information coming out from their spokesperson that they will be pulling out of Nigeria before the 2023 election.
Because it's quite it's, I know followers and those who are following us on this platform will be asking, well, how are they pulling out? Is there going to be a war, like a civil war going to take place? Are they going to arm themselves and say that, look, you like it or not, we just leave it? And how will the government react to it? Because remember that Buhari made a statement. That's why Twitter took his statement down and took him off Twitter, and then they decided to ban Twitter in Nigeria, because he said that those of you who were not born at that time, they should remember he was there and one of those people, and the way they dealt with them, the same way the people have not known. So is that what we are heading towards to now?
Is that what we are heading towards? Will take us straight to what Obasanjo, the former president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, have actually said as well. And the headline to what Obasanjo actually said, says here, and I quote, Obasanjo, Nigeria at crossroad, needs leader with right character. The former Nigerian president said he was working with other elder statesmen to enthrone a new Nigeria. How he's going to get a new Nigeria, especially with the three political parties that he has not given, who is actually backing, even though all the three of them have visited his house at the Ota in Abeokuta. The former president Olusegun Obasanjo says Nigeria is at a critical moment in our political history and needs a leader with the right character and capacity to turn things around. Obasanjo worked with Atiku, so he knows Atiku very well for the 8 years during the 1999 to 2000. There were a lot of disagreement. There were a lot of corruption under Atiku that Obasanjo was not pleased with. Obasanjo knows Tinubu very well. Remember that Obasanjo locked, the resources that should have gone to Lagos State because he disagreed, with Tinubu, and it was a loghead between Obasanjo during his 8 years and Tinubu, because Tinubu was then the governor of Lagos State, and likewise Obasanjo knows Peter Obi very, very well. So we don't know who is working with that is going to give this new Nigeria, whether a lot of Nigerians agree, with this elder statement, because a lot of Nigerians doesn't even count them as any elder statement, because they look at them as a failure, and Obasanjo himself said so, that, his generation actually failed Nigeria. Obasanjo said he was working with this elder statement. We don't know which of the elder statement, but over the weekend, like I said, I saw him with the leader of the social cultural group, Afenifere, traveling to Enugu, where one of the elder statement died, and they were there, for the burial. The former president stated this yesterday, Monday, at the Onhaize Indigo National Secretary in Enugu, where he signed a condolence register opened by the group elders for the first Republic Minister of Aviation, Chief Maduzuke Amachi, who died in November 1st. The leader of the Apex Yoruba Social Cultural Group Organization, Afenifere Pa Adebanjo, and the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, also signed the register. In his address, Obasanjo said the major problem with Nigeria was the dearth of the leaders with the right type of character who should be trusted with leadership roles. So I put my hand on someone, it means that comparing with the other, I see that there's a merit that would be of the benefit of Nigeria, he said. And I believe that Chief Adebanjo stand for the same thing. Well, the question is, Obasanjo also, he had paid his dues in Nigeria. He should not relent in pushing for justice, adding that the problem with the country is not ethnic, but national. But I'm not sure whether a lot of people agree this morning with this elder statement.
Well, listeners, is it Starr Radio UK? We still got lots to come your way. But Ruth says that since they killed my brother in Nigeria, Delta State, and since then I have been supporting Yoruba Nation. I mean, we talk about marginalization when people are thinking that their rights have been taken out of their hands. And what do? You push people to the wall, push their back to the wall. It gets to a point they cannot stand it and they have to bounce back. So what are we going to be seeing? This is what the Saudis are saying, that we're going to be embarking on our separation. We're going to leave. Now, if the federal government said no, and the Southwest are saying we also want to go, there's going to be a declaration. What is going to happen to Nigeria? But wherever you are, continue to keep your dials logged on Starr Radio UK, as we bring you more from there. But 11:33, let's go to Yomi for the rest of the stories that is making the rounds. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much. INEC technologies have been introduced to improve the process over the years, and regularly INEC make its point of duty to improve electoral process by the head of the mission, Dr. Mrs. Eno Udose, at the ongoing market outreach in Abuja. As the INEC continue, to sensitize people. Atiku has lost his base, will not attain Buhari 12 million votes from the north. Osita Okechukwu, the director DG of Voice of Nigeria, Osita Okechukwu, downplayed the threat of the PDP as a major opposition to the APC. I can say that this particular, DG to the Voice of Nigeria that I've been following, in the last, as the PDP lost, the last election, a lot of money in the tune of almost 400 million naira was allocated to rebuild what would have been, the Voice of Nigeria to Africa, which is Voice of Nigeria, under the, the Director General of this particular, part of the government institution, Osita. We're not sure what the money has been used for, but I can tell you that some of the evidence that have come to us through, the complete, the one in Ikorodu is completely being overrun by mice as we speak right now. And the question again is, he will speak against Atiku because he was actually brought in by the APC government. Let's quickly look at one or two in the business part of Nigeria this morning, and then we go to the social media at exactly 11:35. And this is Starr Radio UK. Ghana is also coming on to our news this morning. Ghana to borrow $3 billion from the IMF is one of the headline here as well. Incest farmer elders conflict and threatening food security. The federal government. the issue between the farmer-herder conflict is having a big problem, according to the federal government yesterday. This conflict between the farmers and the herders in the sub-Saharan Africa region was threatening food security in Nigeria. It is said that it was high time crop farmers and herders coexist peacefully, stressing that the conflict between the two groups had dragged on for too long. This is actually coming from the Minister of Agriculture and the Rural Development, Mahmoud Abubakar, yesterday in Abuja. Once again, it is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. It is the 13th day of December 2022 at exactly 36 minutes past 11 a.m. I will take one more from the business and straight to the social media this morning. It seems that now that the issue between the CBN regarding how much you can withdraw out of your bank account is now heading to court. Withdrawal limit, POS operator Falano head for court. But Miller, the House of Reps Speaker, fought Godwin Emefiele. So again, it seems that the issue doesn't seem to be going away, as a lot of Nigerians are going to be thinking of. So, and the reason for that is Godwin Emefiele have insisted that the federal government under President Muhammadu Buhari, that is currently in the United States for the U.S. Africa Business Leadership Summit, point of sale terminal operator and the Lagos-based human rights lawyer Femi Falana have said they will sue the Central Bank of Nigeria if it fails to withdraw the new cash withdrawal policy limiting over-the-counter cash withdrawal by individuals and companies to 100,000 for individuals, 500,000 to companies respectively per week. The CBN had in a memo introducing this policy said that the third-party check above 50,000 will no longer be eligible for OTC payment, while extent limit of 10 million on clearing check still remain. The circular. So the question then is, when somebody like the human rights activist and the senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, says he's going to take the Nigerian government to court or the CBN. All these doesn't make any impact at all, and that is not going to stop anything. And these are some of the reasons why a lot of questions have been asked around, all these issues. According to him, it is embarrassing that the Central Bank of Nigeria has been making announcements without any regard to the Constitution and other relevant laws on the national economy. It is particularly worrisome that the governor of the Central Bank has purportedly placed a limitation on cash withdrawal in Nigeria in complete defiance of Section 2 of the Money Laundering Act 2022, which provides as follows: no person or body corporate shall, in transaction through a financial institution, make or accept cash sum of exceeding 5 million or its equivalent in case of individual, which is 10 million, or its equivalent, 5 million for the individual and 10 million for the corporate. So it seems now you would not be able to do so, even though the law does not permit so. So let's take us straight to the social media and see part of what is trending this morning. Again, Simon Ekpa, you can cry on social media, call the Finland embassy, call anybody you want to call. You can cry now till next year. Our focus is to make sure Biafra exit Nigeria in 2023, either peacefully by the means necessary. Your political motive cry will end on the newspaper. The next one, 70 million Igbos are fighting for existence. Their leader, Nnamdi Kanu, was discharged and acquitted by the same Nigerian court they adopted him, but still held back by the Nigerian Fulani jihadist government. This is coming from Kenneth Obike with a video underneath that we will not be able to play this morning. Buhari to Boris Johnson in Kigali, let him defend himself in court. Rishi Sunak, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has been discharged and acquitted at Nigerian Appeal Court. What is stopping you from intervening in your citizen release? And this is all coming again. Robert Spencer, Nigerian Muslims in an army uniform storm market, murder 6 people, adopted 12, including a nursing mother and a baby. What a very terrible situation that we find ourselves in Nigeria. And INEC is not ready. Please retweet until they address this. Save Nigeria now. You can still help. And I've got it here, and it says INEC, Etiosa local government attention. Fresh PVC registration from January to July 2022 is yet to be ready for collection, while deficit transfer damage from January to July 2022 is ready for collection at various local government Time 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. daily. Thanks. So it seems somebody have posted that somewhere in one of the local government. Etiosa is in Lagos State. So it seems again, as more Nigerians are preparing to vote to get their PVC, more Nigerians are asking questions around why PVC is not available as well. This is how far we can go this morning on the morning edition of the Star Radio UK. And I'll return back to you now in the studio, Mr. Archie.
Yes, listeners, Mr. Olayomi Koiki for you. If we want to go on, we'll go on and on and on and on. But a quick one. The herdsmen and the farmers issue that one of the gentlemen they talked about there earlier, you did mention it. I was pondering over it and thinking that, well, what proposal has he got to resolve it? Because if you say, oh, the herdsmen and the farmers issue has gone on too long, blah blah blah, people are now scared to go to their farms because they know that they go there and the herdsmen are going to come there to come and destroy their farms and kill them as well. So what's the point?
Well, a lot of farmers have actually. I was following Akoko in Ondo State on Saturday, and most of the women that into cocoa could not even dry it anymore in the farm. So they have to just grab as much as they can and come and do that in their, very close to their homes. And the reason for that is that because of the issue of the Fulani attacks as well. And they're always again in disguise, not anymore with these cows. They are now putting on most military outfit and creating this havoc. But we do know that those in the sub-region are still using the cow to destroy farms that should have produced large amount of produce. There was a farmer that I listened to, and he says his cassava harvest would have been about 13 vehicle load of it, but unfortunately they couldn't even get one out.
Oh gosh. So somebody would say, what's the point going on there? But anything for freedom. Hashtag think Yoruba first. It says Obasanjo is always saying things to defend his interest in Nigeria. That man is selfish. I say good morning to you all in the studio. We appreciate you all. Thank you very much. Oluola says Koiki was calling me out on the show. Oluola, we are gentlemen. We take it. We discuss something. We finish with it. We'll move on with it. Okay, we are all fighting a good cause, and let us all stand for it. And I say it all the time. When you have a fragmented front, you will not go very far. So let's put our heads together and let's get on with it. All right then. Right, Yomi. Before you go.
Thank you so much. Once again, we'll be back again same time tomorrow, where we continue with the update from Nigeria. Have a very good morning. Stay tuned with Archie for the rest of the program.
Yes, good morning, and talk to you later. Well, listeners, that has been Mr. Olayomi Koiki in our Love London studios, bringing you the updates from Nigeria. But we're going to take some musical break. Okay, I'll bring you some lovely Christmas tune there, because this is the Christmas season, isn't it? And then we move on from there. So stay tuned. Don't touch the dial. It is Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. That will be after this quick commercial break.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Star Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Star Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820, or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamb Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it, you're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Okay, listeners, Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, 11:47 the time. And I'm saying good morning to Oluremi Kilanko Gabi. Says good morning, Starr Radio UK, Frank, Archie, and Olayomi Koiki. Good morning to you, Oluremi. I hope you are doing very, very well. Okay, let's enjoy this tune, and once we come back, we continue with the show. Doing my best to put you in the mood.
We wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. We wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. We wanna wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of our We wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. We wanna wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of our That's why we bring you greetings. We serve and protect with integrity. We make Nigeria secure. Nigerian prisons are the reformers. We keep the society crime free. And accommodate the rejected. So we wish you a Merry Christmas.
Nigeria immigration, we wish you Merry Christmas. We protect, control the immigrants to make Nigeria secure. And the element, we wish you Merry, Merry Christmas. Eradication of trafficking drugs, reasserting nation's integrity.
Safer road full of lives. We wish you Merry Christmas. Safer road full of lives. Federal road safety corps say so.
The civil defense, we are wishing you very Merry Christmas. All around the world. This is Starr Radio.
Greeting from the Nigerian Armed Forces. This morning, wishing you all a Merry Christmas. As I do say, I'm here to put you in the mood on the 13th day of December, the year 2022, with the time now 11:51 from the hearts of London. Hope that you will enjoy that tune, but don't you worry, lots more music will be coming your way from this platform on this place. So wherever you are, keep your dial so long on Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. As I announced earlier on, this afternoon, BB Clement will be coming your way with BB Means Business, and we're going to be telling you more about what she's going to be doing. It's exactly from 1:30 p.m. So make a date with her. All right, now let's move on to look at some of the other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. And first and foremost, let's go to Senegal, where Amnesty is urging Senegal to tackle abuse in Quranic schools. Now, many children in Senegal's Quranic schools face multiple abuse as well as a financial exploitation through forced begging. Amnesty International charged on Monday as it urged Dakar to act forcefully to protect students. In the Muslim majority nation, where religious leaders wield wide social and political influence, poor children have long been entrusted to Quranic schools called daras for their education. Now, Amnesty said in a report that tens of thousands of students, known as the Talibs, are forced to beg as part of a system to bring teachers income. My goodness. Now, Amnesty said in the report that, now they also suffer health problems such as malnutrition, skin diseases, and often have huge abscesses in their mouths. From unsanitary conditions and lack of care. The students also face abuse from some Quranic teachers and their assistants, the right group said in the report. Now, teachers told Amnesty that shaking is a common practice, particularly for runaways, in order to prevent their escape. My apologies, shackling, not shaking, shackling. They're chaining them. Now, last January, a 10-year-old student died from his injuries in the central city of Tabas, Lancer district, after his teacher beat him for not having studied for the day's lesson. Now, while there are no official statistics, estimates suggest that there are more than 2,000 daras with almost 200,000 talibs. Now, some 25% of these are thought to be forced to beg. My goodness. I rest my case. Okay. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. A French tourist has been killed in Morocco. A French tourist died from head injuries and her husband was hospitalized after being attacked by an unstable man near Rabat, a hospital official has said. Okay, so the person was insane, sort of, and was on the rampage but couldn't be stopped. That seemed to be what is going on. Well, Guinea's former strongman Moussa Daddy's Camara denied responsibility when he took to the stands on Monday at a trial of former officials allegedly involved in the 2009 massacre. Dressed in a garment of woven Burkina Faso cloth, now Camara pleaded his innocence in front of a packed courtroom of several hundred people. Now, if I am before you, it's because my patriotism, otherwise I would not have agreed to come, he told the attendees. Now, Camara said he was sleeping during the early hours of the attack, adding he was eventually awoken at 11 a.m. when he was then told that demonstrators had been killed. The former captain in his 50s is one of the 11 men charged for the September 28, 2009 stadium attack, in which security forces fired at unarmed demonstrators protesting the junta leader's plan to run for president. The bloodbath killed 156 people and at least 109 women were raped by pro-junta forces at the rally in Conakry. At the time, Camara had been in power for almost a year. The position was a key moment. Proceedings in the trial were postponed until Monday from a week ago after Kamara said he was too ill to give testimony. Now he is charged with personal criminal responsibility and command responsibility. Human rights investigators interviewed witnesses and reported that Kamara's aides were at the stadium and did nothing to stop the violence. Now witnesses said that the presidential guard blocked the exits and then entered the stadium and opened fire. The commander, as a commander-in-chief at the time, rights groups say Kamara has to take responsibility for what happened. I believe that, well, if he gave direct instructions or anything of the sort, he needs to. But if it happens that maybe on the chain of command there was somebody beneath him who decided to take the laws into his own hands and do whatever, then that person needs to be brought to book. And what did he do during his time? To bring that person to justice. And that is where it's all going to be. Somebody will say hanya hanya for them, but it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. Now, in Uganda, Museveni has accused Europe of hypocrisy on its climate and energy policy. Now, it's one of the oldest presidents on the African continent. Uganda's veteran president Yoweri Museveni accused Europe on Monday of brazen double standards towards Africa in its climate and energy policies. He lashed out at Europe's return to coal-fired power plants in the face of the energy crisis triggered by the war in Ukraine, while at the same time telling African nations not to use fossil fuels. Now, we will not accept one rule for them and another rule for us, Museveni wrote in a blog published Wednesday that coincides with the UN COP27 climate summit taking place in the Egyptian resort of Sharm el-Sheikh. Now, Europe's failure to meet its climate goals should not be Africa's problem, he added. And that's what I've been saying this all the time. If they're not going to be giving you enough money for you to say that, okay, now within this will compensate for whatever that has gone on in our part of the world. I mean, significant amount. I'm not talking about chicken feet. I'm talking about significant amount. Then they also have to go on their part, develop your country. Do whatever means to develop the country to make your people comfortable, because here we are going to the coal and all that stuff. Why? Because we think that the cost for fossil fuel is too high, and then we need to use the coal. Okay, that is crude, it's too high, and we need to get the coal in there as well to augment whatever we are making. So what do you think about all that? Let me hear from you. It is Starr Radio UK. 2 minutes to the top of the hour. I'm going to read open the lines in a moment. But this week is decisive for South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa, destabilized by a scandal involving mysterious sums of cash. His political future hangs on the possible launch of an impeachment procedure on Tuesday before a vote by the ruling party to a second term. A 70-year-old head of state, who is also a wealthy businessman, is accused of having tried to hide from the police and the tax authorities a burglary dating from 2020 in one of his sumptuous properties, where he indulges in a passion breeding rare cattle. Now, the thieves walked away with $580,000 found in a couch. Now, much more, according to the complaint in June, that sparked the scandal that accuses the president of taking dirty money. No charges have been brought against him at this stage. The police investigation is continuing there. Well, we'll see what happens during the course of the week. No, he's putting fire under his seat, but how is that all going to pan out for him? Well. Earth tremor hit some parts of Ghana's capital, Accra. Now, the story says parts of Ghana's capital, Accra, have been hit by 2 earth tremors on Monday. Now, according to a local media report and some Twitter users, the first tremor was recorded a little after 10 a.m., while the second tremor was recorded around 11:30 a.m. Adabraka, Bawe, Makadi Hill, Kwabenya, Malam are some of the communities that experienced the tremor. The principal seismologist of the Ghana Geological Survey Authority, the GGSA, Nicholas Opoku, has urged Ghanaians not to be worried about the latest earth tremor. He, however, said citizens in Accra must be prepared to experience such tremors from time to time, since the region finds itself on an earthquake zone. Now, what we have been saying is all this while is that Accra is situated in the earthquake-prone zone, so from time to time it will be experiencing these minor earthquakes until such a time that a major will happen, Mr. Poku said. But he said they shouldn't worry. They should wait till the major one happens before. Oh my listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, 12:01 the time. I've got about another 29 minutes to bring the program to close. But let me announce the lines open. You want to join the conversation? Feel free to do so. Call me on 0208-133-2257 or 580208-133-2257 or 58. And or if you are in Canada, the Caribbean area, or yes, or the US, this 0017183032737 0017183032737. Text or WhatsApp me. It is 0753966174. For our Twitter handle is a Starr Radio UK, and email address is info@starradiouk.com. All right then, it is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's take a quick break. We come back. We'll be going to Ghana once again. IMF reaches a staff level agreement on a $3 billion 3-year extended credit facility with Ghana. So is it that going to be getting $1 billion every year? And what is that going to be used for? To pay our debts and to do what? I'll be telling you more about that in a moment. But for now, just stay tuned. And let's take this commercial break. I'll be with you in a moment.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Welcome back to the program, Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. 4 minutes past the top of the hour, the time, the morning show, the program. Well, as I said, this afternoon is at 1:30. BB Clement will be coming your way with BB Means Business. Make a date with her when she comes your way on that. And then this evening there's going to be lots of music as well. But at dawn tomorrow morning, yes, exactly at 5:30. The Power Hour will be coming your way. Command your morning, yeah, with Reverend Michael Esiama and Minister Minister Emmanuel. Yes, they'll be bringing you the prayer time. It's quite early in the morning. You lie in your bed, you pray, or you get up. I mean, those of you of faith, it is a good program, so make sure you make a date. It will come your way on Star Radio UK there as well. All right then, but now let's look at some of the stories making the rounds in Ghana. Well, Ghana has now managed to get an agreement from the IMF where it's going to be bailed out by what? 3 billion. Okay. The International Monetary Fund staff and government have reached a staff level agreement on economic policies and reforms to be supported by a new 3-year arrangement under the extended credit facility of about $3 billion. Now, according to a statement from the fund, the government strong reform program aimed at restoring macroeconomic stability and debt sustainability will protect the vulnerable, preserving financial stability and laying the foundation for strong and inclusive recovery was key in this decision. However, the staff level agreement is subject to IMF management and executive board approval and receipt of the necessary financing assurances by Ghana's partners and creditors. Now, to support the objective of restoring public debt sustainability, the statement added that the government has launched a comprehensive debt operation, but the fund said sufficient assurances and progress on this front will be needed before proposed fund-supported program can be presented to the IMF Executive Board for approval. The Ghanaian authorities have committed to a wide-ranging economic reforms program which builds on government post-COVID-19 program for economic growth and tackles the deep challenges facing the country, the statement pointed out. But the question is, so what is government going to do? You look at the seat of government and you look at the people who the staffers in that particular place, or people who have been employed there, and you ask yourself, and all the perks and everything that comes with it, you ask yourself, are we for real? Now, key reforms aim to ensure the sustainability of public finance while protecting the vulnerable. The fiscal strategy relies on front-loaded measures to increase domestic resource mobilization and streamline expenditure. In addition, the authorities have committed to strengthening social safety nets, including reinforcing the existing targeted cash transfer program for vulnerable households and improving the coverage of and efficiency of social spending is explained. The statement further said the structural reforms will be introduced to underpin the fiscal strategy and ensure a durable consolidation. Now, this include developing medium-term plan to generate additional revenue and advancing reforms to bolster tax compliance. You know, when it comes to doing business in that part of the world, my goodness. The other time I was having a chat with a very good friend of mine, a man of God, and he was telling me that, look, the frustration, you'll be so frustrated. So why would I want to set up a business there? I mean, just to get the business from the ground, and the hoops that you have to be jumping through before the business, starts, getting something out of it. Yeah, that hassle. So if I can set something up here and then we'll still be making it, why do I want to bother? Or if I can invest in something different and still be making money, why do I have to bother? So they are looking at actually getting people to be paying more taxes, and that is giving them making sure that they are getting they are doing good jobs, training themselves to be earning more, and therefore you can tax them more. But if we are not doing that, then people are not earning much. So how much are you going to tax them? Well, it's all Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. I'm bringing the time now to 9 minutes past the top of the hour. It is the Tuesday edition of the morning show. Stay tuned and don't you even think of going away. Well, the Minister for Finance had made a statement pertaining to what the IMF has come out to say. The Finance Minister, Kenneth Oriasa, says government is already looking at ways to review some of its flagship programs to fit into the general commitment to improve the finances of the country. So which ones is he talking about? We know the main flagship program of the government is the free SHS. So is that what he's talking about there? He said plans are far advanced in this regard to ascertain how to better execute the various social intervention initiatives. I think we are doing a review to look at the efficiencies of all these programs, and that has already kicked off. And as we then continue, we will make sure that these are run efficiently, the minister added on Tuesday. That's today. He made his comment during the government announcement that it had reached a staff level agreement with the International Monetary Fund on the financial bailout being sought by the country. The staff level agreement on economic policies and reforms is to be supported by the new 3-year arrangement and the extended credit facility of about $3 billion. Well, it is all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's move on because we've not got too much time on our hands. Now, alleged leaked tapes, audio tapes of Esiedu Nketia revealed that NDC went to court without figures. Now, the story says contents of a leaked audio believed to have captured the voice of the General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, and this Esiedu Nketia has revealed that during the party went without without defensible figures when they petitioned the Supreme Court over the 2020 election. So the election 2020 petition that took place, that's what he was talking about, but there was a bit of a typo there, or grammar. Now, speaking in the 14 minutes plus leaked audio clip that has been shared multiple times in micro blogging app, the voice is heard explaining that even before the NDC went to court to challenge the declaration of Nana Addo Dankwa as the 2020 elected candidate in the election, they had been experiencing some technical challenges. Now, only after collating 5 regions, we were told that the system that will help with the job had crashed, and that is why, in truth, we did not have resolve to challenge the Electoral Commission. That's what I was talking about. That my colleague, Mr. Frank Davis, at that time, they said that there was a system, there was a software that was supposed to have been used for that purposes that they failed to adhere to and went on with some botched one, and therefore caused them to lose out big time. And now they are with this leaked tape saying that, well, they didn't actually have the figures. You know, someone would say they were doing hanya. But what do you think? This all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, let's go to other parts of the world and let's see what is happening there as well. The US have charged ex-FTX boss with defrauding investors. He's accused of orchestrating a scheme to defraud investors in the failed crypto exchange FTX. Yeah, I hope that you do not buy into that one. Others have invested in a few of them. Let me say the truth. Yeah, we've invested in a few of them, but not this particular one. But well, that's some of the stories making the rounds there. The MEP has denied Carter bribery after over 1 million euros seized. By who? The Greek MEP Eva Kalili has denied involvement in an alleged bribery scandal involving the World Cup host Qatar at the European Parliament. She is one of the 4 suspects charged after Belgian investigators found large sums in cash in homes and a suitcase. The MEPs have voted by 625 to 1 to strip Miss Kali of her role as one of its 14 vice presidents. Oh gosh, she's got no leg to stand on. Now, Parliament leader Roberta Metsola has spoken of difficult days for European democracy. Now, Qatar has denied any wrongdoing. Eva Khalili declares her inconvenience and that she has nothing to do with the bribery from Qatar. Her lawyer, Michalis Dimitrakopoulos, said on a Greek TV today. Now, prosecutors carried out a string of searches over several days and said cash worth about 600 euros had been found at the home of one suspect, 150,000 euros at the flat of an MEP, and several hundreds of thousands euros in a suitcase in the Brussels hotel room. Was that a tip-off? How did they find out? This one is what my friend, my cousin, my late cousin, Charles will say. He says, Morocco wizard, man sleep, but one eye open. So you still have to keep one eye open, you know. Well, it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, when it comes to some other stories making the rounds there as well in the political field, well, New Zealand, Jacinda Ardern has apologized for MP insult caught on the microphone. You know, when they speak under and the downtone, and then the microphones do pick. They are sensitive microphones, you know. We do forget ourselves when it comes to that. Now, the New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern has apologized for insulting a political rival in Parliament. The offensive comment was picked up by microphones following a question by David Seymour, leader of the opposition ACT party. Now, Mr. Seymour objected to the remark and asked the House of Representatives Speaker to have it withdrawn. Now, Ms. Ardern, whose party has fallen behind in polls in the past 12 months, later said she had apologized for that. In a lively debate on Tuesday, the Prime Minister took issues when Mr. Seymour asked her to give an example of her making a mistake, apologizing for it properly and fixing it. Ms. Ardern said there had been a number of accusations where her Labour administration had acknowledged there had not been perfect responses, including a key element of the country's COVID response. We have openly said, for instance, that managed isolation and quarantine was something that was very difficult at the time, and that there were people that were affected by it, and that we would do things differently if we ever were confronted with it again. She added that she stood by the work of her government over its term in office. We've always made decisions that we believe to be the best in the best interest of New Zealand at the time, she said. Well. As leaders, they do everything, making sure they take decisions wherever to make sure that it's in the general interest of the majority of the people. You know, that is how they do it. Okay. Yeah, but when it comes to Africa, our story is different too. Well, 19 minutes to the top of the hour at a time. Starr Radio UK, the station, the morning show, the program, and I've been trying to keep warm with a nice water bottle that my producer has sent my way. All right then, so we're enjoying it. Well, in Peru, protesters have blocked roads and airports in unrest after the president was impeached, and Putin is scrapping trademark year end news conference. Well, let me bring you that one as well. He sits. He won't come there to come and speak to you. He sits in his Oval Office, whether it's his rectangular office or whichever office is it. Now, Russian President Vladimir Putin will not hold his traditional big year and news conference, the Kremlin has said, for the first time in 10 years. But spokesman Dmitry Peskov said, we hope the president will, after all, find an opportunity to talk to the media. No reason was given for the cancellation, but it comes amid growing unease among Russians over Mr. Putin's decision to invade Ukraine in February. Russian troops have suffered a series of painful reverses since then. Now, regarding the big press conference, yes, it won't happen before the new year, Mr. Peskov told reporters on Monday. But he added that Mr. Putin could find a way to talk to the media, stressing that he does it regularly. Over the past 10 years, the carefully choreographed annual press conference attended by dozens of journalists, both Russian and foreign, usually lasted for hours in Moscow. But this time around, he says, that one is not going to be taking place. So what's going to happen there? It's only God who knows. But hey, let's move on to what is happening here. Well, drivers have been warned of the ice alert. Somebody said that, well, when it comes to the Norwegian areas and those in Iceland and all those, well, they face this snow all the time and icy conditions. They are able to go through it. But we have a little one, and then we seem to be, Job, we cannot make any move. And I was telling somebody yesterday that it's because we don't expect that to happen often. So I won't go and buy myself tires for snow tires. I wouldn't buy that, because you go buy that, it will be a waste. But well, it is happening live. How long that is going to last, we know that hopefully by Sunday the weather is going to change for us. But as to whether when it comes to later on in the month and then the months ahead, we're going to be seeing any cold spate of weather coming through is another question. But drivers are being warned as snow and ice alerts continue. It's one of the stories making motorists are being urged to plan and prepare before setting off in icy weather after the UK saw its coldest night since February in 2021. The temperatures fell to a low of 17.3 overnight in Bremer in the Scottish Highlands. Now, yellow warnings have been issued for the southwest and northeast coast of England, as well as northern Scotland and part of the Northern Ireland. The cold snap comes amid rail strikes, meaning more people may use cars. But Britain today is seeing nearly total shutdown of its railway, with only about 20% of service expected to run. Further strikes action is expected on Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Well. So if you're embarking on journeys, please rethink and rethink and rethink. All right then. Well, some other information coming through for new parents. What is it, new parents? New moms and dads. Okay, now rare genetic disorders will be diagnosed and treated in babies thanks to a project to sequence the complete DNA of 100,000 newborns. It should spare hundreds of families in England months or years of anguish waiting to find out why their children are ill. The project is the first time that whole genome sequencing WGS has been offered to healthy babies in the NHS. It will screen for around 200 disorders, all of them treatable. The newborn genomes program, to begin next year, is thought to be the biggest study of its kind in the world. If successful, it could be rolled out across the country. There are at least 7,000 single gene disorders, most of which develop during early childhood. Now, every year, several thousand children in the UK are affected by rare genetic diseases, but families often endure years of tests and uncertainty before they receive a diagnosis. As symptoms can develop slowly by the time a diagnosis is confirmed. Avoidable damage may have been done. So if that will save lives and give them a healthy life, why not? Bring it on, as some would say. But it's all Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Emma Chadwell has been accused, faces charges against 28 women. Now, Ian Parker has pleaded not guilty to a total of 46 charges, including 11 rapes over a 26-year period. Wow. I know the laws here, they work out. Okay, and then, yes. Somebody say yes, and no. Okay, but for those of you doing your Christmas decorations and all stuff, now dangerous Christmas lights have been listed for sale on Amazon and eBay. And information coming through saying that at this time where we have all the emergency the strikes and stuff planned going on, you don't want to have any fire later or anything. Illegal and dangerous Christmas lights have been listed for sale on online marketplaces including Amazon, eBay, according to which. Now, testing by the consumer group on lights from 4 retailers found 10 out of 12 sets failed to meet UK electrical equipment safety regulations. All the lights tested were purchased online and cost £15 or less. But Amazon and eBay have said they take safety seriously and have removed the items from their website. Now, 2 sets from both retailers were missing key marking and failed compliance checks, now which also tested items from online retailers AliExpress and Wish. Both companies said they had also removed the products found to be illegal for sale. Sue Davis, head of the consumer protection policy at Which, said cheap Christmas lights might be tempting amid the cost of living crisis, but consumers could be putting themselves in danger because online marketplaces are failing to take safety seriously. All right then, so this is where I bring the program to a close for today. Tomorrow, God willing, will be coming your way with the another edition of the morning show. It will be the Wednesday edition, of course. But remember, this afternoon, as I said, 1:30 exactly, we'll be having BB Clement bringing you BB Means Business. But remember, as I said, a technical upgrade will be taking place Thursday morning. And therefore, Thursday morning, there's not going to be a live show. But I promise you that during the course of the day, we'll be bringing you some lovely tunes from our DJ. So, wherever you are, I want to say once again, thank you very much for tuning in to join us today on this lovely, jubbly show. I'll be coming your way tomorrow once again. God richly bless you and enjoy this song and this tune, and then I bring the program to a close. Yamana Fishapo, Yamawana Fishapo. Hey, listeners, this is Starr Radio UK, your favorite Afro-Caribbean radio station in London, and we wish all our listeners a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year. Stay blessed. Okay, so Christmas greetings to you, and enjoy this one. It says, "Oh Holy Night" by Phrase. Enjoy.
Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth.